GM, everyone. Ismael here from Lagrange. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, YQ from AltLayer.
Yeah, great to see everyone. Yeah, happy to be in this very exclusive podcast with.
I learned something very interesting today about YQ. He's a motorcycle guy.
That's true.
So there's a certain group of people who at DevCon took cars and taxis and would wait in traffic. And there's a certain group of people who'd hop on the back of a motorcycle, even in the rain, to get places on time.
Yeah, that's how I got here. Because it's 5 minutes to get here with a motorbike. But if you basically take a car or taxi, probably just 30 minutes. Yeah, it's much more efficient.
So tell me, other people from AltLayer here, Amrit's here, Dorothy's here, you're here. Who's a motorbike person? Who's a car person?
Only myself is a motorbike person.
Only yourself is a motorbike person. Yeah. I love that. Very bullish AltLayer that you are a motorbike person. I am also on the back of a motorbike getting places. I think it's one of the most fun ways to get around at any conference.
Yeah.
So to jump into things, two big announcements came out recently about AltLayer, as well as a third announcement about AltLayer and Lagrange.
Yes.
I'd love to hear about two of the big announcements that you've done with multi-provers and with autonomous agents.
Yes.
As well as the announcement with Lagrange over exclusive proving networks for AltLayer.
Yeah, so much alpha. Yeah, as you mentioned, right, on Sunday, we basically announced that we will start to provide the sort of this second AVS for the real-estate rollup, basically series. Because since the last year, we together with Ryan, we proposed this real-estate rollup concept, right? It includes decentralized sequencing, decentralized verification, and fast finality. We already launched this fast finality AVSs for, I think, 5 different real estate rollups. Basically for fast, it's called Mark. And also for the past almost 1 year, we spent a lot of time with our partners like Research0, Succinct, Nibra, and also some TE providers like Automata. So as people want basically better decentralization and also safety for rollups, right? And for all the existing vanilla rollup stacks, it's only single sequencer. So that's why we propose the real-estate rollup, and also Justin proposed this base rollup, right? We want to decentralize the rollup and just to make it relatively in a decentralized manner with better security and safety. And so in that case, I just feel like this year, somehow, I don't know why, a lot of these ZK coprocessor projects and partners, they made a lot of breakthrough. And right now, I just feel like most of the ZK technology becomes a commodity. And so in that case, they also have a bunch of new stuff coming out. For example, Succinct to have this OP Succinct. Research0 is going to announce something very soon. And same to Nibra. And that's basically, we feel like it's a stage, like sort of we need to push all the existing rollups and probably also future new rollups from stage 0 to stage 2. The difference is that stage 0 doesn't require any proof systems, and stage 1 requires minimum 1 proof system, like fraud proof or ZK proof, and the stage 2 requires minimum 2 proof systems. So that's why the multi-prover is so important for stage 2. So with Vital, we want to provide multiple options. Like you can have this native sort of fraud proof or fault proof for OP. And then you can also have the ZK validity proof. You can also have the ZK fraud proof. You can have the TE prover. And we want to give all the projects like the bundle of all different options. So they can just choose probably 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, just make sure the network is safer. And regarding the second one, right, because there's some background about myself. I came from the academia since 12 years ago. I started.
You were a professor?
Not yet. I was about to get some offer. Actually, I got some offer. I was about to go to this faculty position, but then somehow my advisor convinced me, like, let's build something with more impact. And then I was doing the CTO role for Zilliqa, doing the sharding protocol. And then, as you mentioned, we did a lot of research a decade ago. All different things, different consensus protocols, different privacy technologies, because we need to cover all different privacy technologies. So at that time, we discussed about this FHE, and ZK, and also all different TE solutions, not just on PC. We also had a bunch of these papers on this trust zone, basically mobile trusted hardware.
Yep.
And also got some best paper even on that.
I love that.
But anyway, it's just I feel like it was so exciting. Like after 10 years, someone finally pick up this idea.
Yeah.
And then I just figure out like, okay, this everyone talking about these AI agents, and we are the infrastructure project. We are the infra guys. So I don't think we can like really focus on building another like AI agent, AI product or application. But what we can do is probably provide this verifiable AI infrastructure with all the different existing technologies like TE or probably ZK.
Yeah.
And yesterday I also talked to a guy from Phoenix about potential on this FHE integration, something about that. But in general, as you can see, we really want to make a sort of a verifiable platform and for these AI agents to deploy there, so you don't need to worry about your secrets and you don't need to worry about your private keys for your wallet. So in that case, it's quite similar to the services we provide previously, like a rollup-as-a-service, AV-as-a-service, and right now it's a verifiable AI-as-a-service. The point is we want to provide exactly smooth user experience using Vercel to launch a website.
Yes.
You click a bunch of buttons, you immediately launch whatever this kind of a crypto native infrastructure you want. It's just like previously we have a bunch of hurdles on rollups.
Yes.
Bunch of hurdles on the multi-prover and also these AI agents on this crypto platform, right? So now we just want to get rid of, overcome all the hurdles in one shot and just make sure we can quickly onboard a lot of developers, no matter crypto native or Web2, directly into crypto and start to build whatever, all the new applications to bring new users into crypto.
I love that. I think one of the things that I've always liked the most about AltLayer and our conversations, I think part of the reason that we've become very good friends, is I think you're one of the most forward-looking people in the space who I've interacted with when it comes to trying to think through how am I going to take emerging technology and integrate that into a product that I can make the developer experience more simple for, ranging from rollups to TEs, to AI agents, to multi-purpose, all of it. And so I also find very fascinating every time we talk the lore of your academic background. It's like whenever I talk to Sriram, I'm always impressed by like the amount of subjects that he happens to be an expert and published papers in prior to founding EigenLayer.
Yeah.
Like it's the, I think the academic backgrounds and people who come from academic backgrounds have this innate intellectual curiosity and ability to pursue innovation agnostic to sector. And that's something that I think our research team we hire, obviously.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of professors.
we have a research team too. So if Babis, Demetrius, or Shravan are watching this, thank you. Another thing that hasn't been announced at the time of recording, but it will be announced very shortly, is some interesting collaborations that are happening between AltLayer and Lagrange. Specifically, Lagrange being the default proving substrate, exclusive proving network for rollups that are ZK rollups deploying on AltLayer.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, what created the collaboration here.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I thought this should be some introduction by you, all your proving system. But anyway, I already watched a bunch of your presentations in the previous talks. The good thing is like for our existing businesses, we already launched, we have a lot of clients, like over probably 50. And we launched a lot of the rollups, either in testnets or mainnets. And right now, most of them are still using OpenStack, Arbitrum Orbit in this optimistic rollup basic category. And also, we are also having some new clients using these ZK rollups. And I just feel like when we talk about these kind of different categories of rollups, right? And when we pitch to clients, somehow I believe one of the most important thing for them to consider is about their budget.
Yeah.
So that's why most of them actually choose this optimistic rollup, even as Vitaly mentioned, right? Like probably in 5 years, all the rollups should just go into this ZK rollup. But right now at this stage, these proving costs are still relatively high for ZK rollup. So that's why for a lot of clients, somehow they're still choosing this optimistic rollup. But as I mentioned, later on, once we have this Vital and this multi-prover system, we try to bring all the existing directly into C2, which also include the ZK proving systems. And also for the existing ZK rollups, some of the project, right, they got the grants from these big ones.
Yeah.
And then they can subsidize the proving cost. But for the project who want to use the ZK rollup or ZK proving system, if they don't get the grants, there will be a great way we can have some sort of very special treatment and very special sort of proving system and can directly help them to do that. So I think that's I would say, as previously discussed with Ismael, we just feel like that's a very natural and a very organic sort of a partnership and integration. Because in the end, we want to bring all the benefits for this project, right? They are doing social, DeFi, deep in AI, and all different these application-focused rollups. And if we can directly help them to have this ZK, especially we can make it very straightforward. Having the proof system, right? That would be a big sort of improvement for them, especially for security. And yeah, with your support, I would say for us, right, it will be very straightforward. We don't need to really onboard these provers from AWS or GCP one by one. Yeah, later we can directly connect to your API or some existing SDKs and quickly just provide this proving system for all the rollups. That I would say is not just about this partnership or announcement. It's really we can bring a lot of benefits for the existing customers. Yeah.
I think we can build great things together with that. And I think there's a few points there that I love touching on. The first being that one of the benefits you get from production grade proven markets like Lagrange is this cost saving at scale.
Yes.
You're able to have an optimization of resource costs. You're able to have a decreasing pressure on price.
Yeah.
And you're able to create these proving ecosystems that continually become more resource efficient for customers and partners, which means that what an end user has to pay at the end of the day is less than on any other place in crypto where they may want to get a ZK rollup from that doesn't use this type of architecture.
Yeah.
And so together, I think we can create really this kind of synergistic work that can make it more resource efficient, cheaper, and better for end users. And I think this really lets rollup teams like AltLayer accomplish the vision of scaling Ethereum through restaked rollups and restaked ZK rollups.
Yeah. I can also share a bunch of these advantages your proving system has, if you haven't mentioned yet.
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah. So one thing is, I would say, of course, leveraging this eigen. You can definitely have very good this liveness check and all these guarantees for this prover, right? If they don't perform very well, you can definitely just kick them out.
Yes.
And at the same time, you have the different reward system for them. It's very healthy. You can have this flywheel for these provers to participate in the network. And the second thing I feel is very interesting is that probably later you can also support these tokens from these rollups and to be part of the staking or dual staking mechanism for the proving system. Yeah, I covered very well, right?
You do. You do. You're a better sales guy than me.
Yeah, so I just feel, because right now I just feel the crypto space, right? Everything is fast moving. We for the 2 years ago, right, or at least 1 year ago, we are still thinking about what kind of ZK rollup or ZK EVM we can build, right? But this year, I just feel like everyone can have the ability to build this ZK proof system. Of course, it's because of these all different ZK coprocessor projects, right? Like this Succinct, Research Zero, and also you guys, right? To really help people to have the sort of the most easy to use this kind of SDKs.
Yeah.
This basically, even for ourselves, right? We also have some light clients for this Mark, the fast finality.
Yes.
It has the ZK component.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So that's the thing I just feel for the past 1 year, I just feel like it's really fast moving, especially for the infrastructure in crypto space.
It is.
And if assume right now, ZK proving still a little bit expensive, but I believe for the next probably 1 to 2 years, so we can definitely have a lot of improvements on that. So in that case, I just feel like this ZK proving system, probably not just for this ZK VM or rollups, right? We can definitely have more use cases on top of that. Yeah.
I totally agree. I didn't want to get on here and chill our architecture. But I think there's a number of key benefits that you mentioned that I'd love to highlight related to where Lagrange provide unique value to a lot of our partners, and hopefully the rollups building an AltLayer. And the first one of that is really cost efficiency for customers and end users. A user who needs a proof generated for a ZK rollup, I would assume, has a very clear requirement set that they don't want it to be expensive.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay 20% more. They don't want to pay 30% more if they don't have to. And so what we can guarantee with these efficient resource markets is that cost continues to come down. And secondly, we can ensure compatibility of incentives.
Yeah.
With staking requirements that can be highly bespoke on top of EigenLayer, as well as liveness ability that we can ensure that when a proof needs to be generated, it is generated on time for partners. And so I think one of the things that got a lot of people, including myself, into crypto is the idea of these kind of unstoppable programs or unstoppable blockchains. The idea that you could deploy something in production on a decentralized consensus, and that thing couldn't be shut off by a single actor, not by a government, not by a corporation. It could exist in perpetuity as long as the network existed. And so when we build roll-up architectures and we can separate execution state from the base layer and settle it back down, we lose the capacity to have these unstoppable programs if the things that are used to assert the state transition, the proofs, aren't live or have liveness issues. If you're in a country that has capital controls and they want to stop you from being able to swap your your native fiat currency into a more stable asset, and inflation's 50% per year, you need to be able to try to move to something that's a better store of value. And if the government can just come on and shut off the roll-up that's giving you USDC, the way to buy USDC, you really haven't made a meaningful progress as a space. And I think liveness within this network, thanks to EigenLayer restaking, is something that is just fundamental to the space. And I think that with resource efficiency and cost efficiency, then with incentive alignment, and then with obviously the kind of the core ideological advantage or practical advantage of having strong liveness on the proving, what you get to is an architecture that I think is really differentiated and can offer hopefully a very kind of deep and long-lasting partnership to AltLayer and AltLayer's kind of core partners.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to shift gears a little bit, you have been one of the longest builders in the EigenLayer ecosystem, as I like to think have we. I'd love to know what was the first thing that kind of got you into building an EigenLayer, and what has your journey been like building that ecosystem?
Oh, that one is quite fun, I would say. The main reason actually is Shram.
Yeah.
And we actually, as I mentioned in my previous tweet, so the Brad Capital's Ted, he made the intro, I think, over 2.5 years ago. And he said that he also one of the lead investors in our seed round. He said that, okay, you must meet Shram. And Shram doing all great research. At that time, I don't know what kind of new stuff Shram was working on. And then we somehow, I think it was like around this conference or something. And then Shram was about to fly back to Seattle. And then we met 1 or 2 hours before his flight. We had some kebab together. He couldn't, he's a veteran, but it's basically that kind of this restaurant.
You just had the kebab.
Yes, I had the kebab. But the thing is, we had a lot of great conversations. At that time, I think he's still trying to figure out like what kind of, at that time, it was not about restaking. He was trying to figure out, okay, for rollup, right? How we really align all the sequencers using the sort of existing validators. It's basically quite similar idea of Cosmos Hub in a few years ago. It's basically we have a set of operators, right? All the nodes from Ethereum, like the validator. How we leverage the existing validators to create new rollups or new networks. That's the early stage probably of this Eigen, right? It's similar to the operator right now we have, and then he also mentioned, how about for capital efficiency, let's also gather the existing ETH to stake on this operator. You can see it's exactly the thing we're talking about. It's just at that time we don't have proper term for example, these applications, these operators, they still call it validators. We don't discuss AVS at that time. There's no, so we don't say LRT and restaking at the time. But later I just feel like, because we're all researchers, right? Somehow, I don't know, like basically for the past 2 years, a lot of my friends who are also coming from this academia, they started to do their crypto projects.
Yes.
Probably because I'm in this computer security. Most of the professors and also my friends and also the juniors, they're working on the area quite having a lot of overlap with cryptos, like either on the consensus protocol and all distributed all cryptography libraries and all new primitives. But anyway, back to the point is basically I was excited about Shram's idea and also the whole concept. And after that, we kept discussing about this eigen and also the new things from eigen. We are the first one who really had this sort of early access to their private repos. And the first version was not that good, I would say. And then we helped them to basically submit a bunch of feedback and talk to their team. And we witnessed there's a lot of iterations of the code base, either for smart contract and also for the SDK. So that's why even right now for Eigen SDK, if you check, like basically half of the probably the bug fixes are from us, because we really know all the historical changes and why they made the decisions from one version to another version. And especially one thing I always mention, like for slashing, right? The very simple version, some of the other risk-taking platform claim they have is something like Eigen already had like over 2 years ago. You get my point, right? We saw it. It's just like they didn't feel like it's efficient enough because it's on Ethereum, right? And they didn't feel like, okay, it doesn't achieve all the goals they want. So that's why they probably had another 10 iterations on the slashing part. Same for the reward, right? We all know that reward probably they had like over 20 different iterations on top of that. It's just like their tech team gave me a lot of confidence. At the beginning, I feel like risk-taking is pretty new to Ethereum. I'm not sure whether Ethereum really, like the community and also ecosystem really accept it as a part of the core, like sort of values and the core contribution to Ethereum. Because in the end, right, I believe Eigen is the best way to empower this kind of off-chain services and also empower all the different middlewares around Ethereum. Because for Ethereum or even for other rollups, they are still ledger-based systems. We can only do these on-chain transactions, the smart contracts, interaction, all the things, right? But how about the off-chain computation, like you guys, right, doing this ZK coprocessor? TE, FHE, MPC, and then how about this bridge and also the other, this fast finance? It's a bunch of middlewares, Oracle, we need to have them, but to be honest, most of the services, they have to be hosted off-chain. It's impossible to have all of them on-chain insulated. So in that case, we need some, not just tools, we need some proper protocols to handle that. So that's the part almost every time I told Shram, we should really highlight about that part. It's basically Ethereum can, and with all its rollups, can handle all the on-chain transactions and activity, but for the off-chain ones, probably we really need to use Eigen. And so that's why, right, after over 2 years, we discussed a lot. And since last year, finally, I figured out, okay, what's the best sort of collaboration to do? Of course, they already have EigenDA. And naturally, and can connect to all the rollups. And we are basically the first one to really push EigenDA to everyone.
Risk-staked rollups.
Risk-staked rollup. And then the risk-staked rollup having this Mark Vital score for fast finality verification and also sequencing and all this kind of multi-prover. It's basically, I spend, and also our team spend a lot of time thinking about what are the real use cases around these rollups using Eigen or using risk-taking. So that's why like it's not just random three different AVSs, right? We put a lot of thoughts, put a lot of thinking process into it, try to figure out, okay, what are the things. And then since early this year, we know, right, we are the first batch of AVS. So we got this very short notice, like 3 days, right? They already had this midnight. Within 3 days, including weekend, we need on board like minimum 20 operators or something, and then we together just...
We both did it, though.
Yeah, made it.
We both did it.
I mean, it's just like after that, we launched a bunch of like five like different research rollups using Mac. And I just feel like it's something really happening so fast for the past 1 year for Eigen and also Eigen ecosystem. It's almost from like before pre-midnight and after midnight over 10 or 20 billion TVLs immediately a lot of AVS, and then on midnight. And right now, so we just finished this AVS day. There's another probably 100 AVS going to go to midnight. The ecosystem is really good. It's just like in the end, right? Everyone asking the question, do you think AVS is the must at this stage? I always tell them, if you look at rollup like 5 years ago, right? No one say, okay, rollup was a must.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't even be convinced that we should use rollup at that time, because we have Cosmos SDK.
Yes.
We have this substrate and all different ways to launch chains. The rollup, and people complain because there's no proof system at that time. People complain it's not secure enough.
Yes.
Right now, I just feel like AVS, we just had this less than 1 year after midnight. Probably it's still young. We still have a lot of opportunities and chances to build all different applications on top of it. Especially recently, somehow I don't know why, Shuran and also Eigen team is saying let's build AI AVS. They are tweeting every day. It's somehow I just feel like, yeah, definitely, like more different types of AVS, we can still build around Eigen. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think one of the parts of AVS is that is so well suited for emerging technologies, the things that you work on, the things that we work on, is that emerging technologies always have a very high operating cost.
Yes.
Running a prover is more expensive than running a node.
Yeah.
Running an AI model is more expensive than running a basic web server, right? FHE has a computational overhead.
Yes.
And so these things that are operationally expensive must be deployed in environments that have low capital costs.
Yeah.
And EigenLayer is the lowest capital cost that substrate that you could build a network on, and all is crypto.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think we see the coolest projects, the most innovative builders, and the most emerging technology gravitate towards the ecosystem. And as a ZK team, there really isn't a better place to deploy than EigenLayer.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I really found the most impactful about the ecosystem to begin with, from just a purely structural standpoint.
Yeah.
And then obviously from an interpersonal and human standpoint, I've just always meshed with the great people, great builders like yourself in the ecosystem. And obviously, I think Sriram was someone who really believed and supported Lagrange early on, before a lot of other people were really even giving us the time of day. And I think like that type of culture in a company, and that type of kind of Sriram going founder mode and working with a lot of the really early projects, and he obviously still does, but back when we were first building too, was really impactful to us as a company, and is really a big reason why Lagrange is where it is right now. And shifting gears a little bit back to the intersection of Lagrange and AltLayer and some of the more forward-facing stuff that we're going to be doing together, how do you see the ZK rollup landscape maturing? How do you see the kind of the projects building on ZK rollups advancing? I have my theses, which I can share in a little bit, but I'd love to hear yours.
Oh yeah, of course we're talking to a lot of clients and partners who want to use rollups, right? I just mentioned to you right now, I think the only blocker for ZK rollup to be dominant or massive is just about the cost. And beyond that, I just feel like all the technical difficulties basically already overcome. And when we talk about ZK rollup, the fun thing is previously when we talk about ZK rollup is typically like Polygon, ZK EVM, ZK Sync, and also this StarNet and Scroll, right? But the cool part right now, especially for OP Stack, we already have not just one or two ZK teams working on making that ZK proof system for them.
Yeah.
I think it's over 5, like doing this ZK proof system for them. So in that case, as you can see, this kind of shift later on, you will see probably in 1 year, we will have a very blurred boundary between optimistic rollup and also ZK rollup. So typically, I say like this Polygon ZK EVM, ZK Sync, and Scroll, they are this classic ZK EVM. And then soon we probably will see the bunch of new wave of OP ZK like rollup coming out. That's the point. Like we probably will have a bunch of these OP stack rollups and not migrate. It's basically empower them with ZK proof systems. And then back to the point, no matter it's a new clients who will basically we help them to spin off the ZK rollup, right? Or the existing one using OP stack, and later we help them to do the ZK proof. I think their main issue or consideration or the blocker is about cost. This is, for example, for normal optimistic rollup, right? The cost is just probably around $3,000 or something. But if we really have a ZK rollup or ZK proof system, right, easily, even to rent the prover, easily we can have like $10,000 for the prover itself. So as you can see, it's not just like 20 or 30% higher.
It's substantial.
It's substantial. It's 2 to 3 times higher than that. And even with this prover, right, you won't really have unlimited TPS.
Yes.
If you want to higher TPS, right, higher throughput, you need to have more GPUs and more provers. It's basically proportional. Higher TPS, and then proportional, you need more GPUs and provers for it. Beyond that, I just feel like I also talked to some teams, and they actually, it's not teams. Vitaly told me, I forgot the team name. He mentioned about the team, and basically they can make, if you have enough budget, you can spin off as many provers as you want, and then you can achieve to generate a proof for Ethereum block within seconds. Right now, it's within 1 minute. So in that case, you can see, right, I don't think we have this performance issue for ZK proving system anymore. So it's just about the cost.
Yes.
That's the most exciting part, as just mentioned, right? We want to have Lagrange because we try to figure out like the ways to dramatically reduce the proving cost. So in that case, it's not just for the existing like ZK rollups, but it's also good for like new rollups using ZK proof system. We can directly help them to having these multi-prover systems. Because that's definitely bring a lot of security and safety guarantee for them. And basically, I think that will happen within probably 1 or 2 years. And because based on the current speed for all the teams basically competing against each other, I just feel like we definitely have this kind of a pace to make everything really affordable within 1 or 2 years.
I totally agree. My thesis has long been that in the next 5 years, every rollup on Ethereum will become a ZK rollup. By the time Ethereum's block execution is proven in RISC-V with Beam Chain, every rollup will be a ZK rollup by then. And so we can see directionally that decentralized proving, economies of proving, and ways to bring down costs and improve developer experience for using ZK are the right path. But the time to get there is variable. And the time to underwrite that and how you underwrite that it requires, I think, teams that specialize in doing so. And so that's why I think the work that we're doing together, I hope, is so impactful, because we have the ability to really make AltLayer one of kind of hopefully the leading players in this kind of new wave of Ethereum-aligned ZK rollups being deployed, thanks to much of the emerging work that you've been doing and some of the work that we've been doing together.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to Vitaly a lot last month, and he gave me the impression that he always bullish on ZK. And you mentioned about this beam chain from Justin, right? And so I think the end goal for the beam chain is just becoming a ZK VM. And definitely it requires like a much cheaper and performant and also efficient proving system to make it possible. That's why even you look at the roadmap he mentioned, either it's a 5-year plan or 7-year plan. But I would say the biggest blocker is still about the proving time, the efficiency, and also the cost. Because at that time, they will also have very short block time, probably 4 seconds or something. Then we should really have all the computations done, plus proof also done, plus proof aggregated, plus proof verified on this the beam chain. So that's the point. I just feel like it's definitely the proof system is a sort of like we need for the next like basically few years, most of the new applications. And at the same time, also Vitaly mentioned to us, we should have some multi-prover at the moment, but in the end, we should really figure out ways to really ZK snackify everything for all the applications or projects we provide.
I think that's very well put. And I specifically think the context of snarkifying every component of off-chain computation used on blockchains is the only way for us to move to more secure architectures holistically.
That's true.
When we move exogenous data onto ZK-TLS, when we move bridging onto state proofs, when we move off-chain computation onto coprocessors, and when we move off-chain execution onto ZK rollups.
Yeah.
And I think all of that is going to be directionally the way the space moves. And so thank you to AltLayer for being one of the teams in the forefront of that. And
Yeah,
thank you to you,
absolutely.
YQ, for joining us today. As a final kind of parting thought, is there anything you want to share, either hot takes or something you're excited about?
Yeah, so the thing is, we announced our verifiable AI platform like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
It's autonome. It's a French word. People just say it's autonomy, but actually it's autonome. And
Autonome.
yes. So the thing is, we are opening the waitlist and people can just register.
Yeah.
If you want, we can directly give you the code. And it's very smooth.
Yeah.
You just need to pick the agents you want and click a bunch of buttons. We will launch everything basically in this very secured environment. You don't need to worry about your private key secrets to be leaked because the entire thing will be hardened by the hardware. And beyond that, we also have very good UI. You can directly interact with this agent. And we are collaborating with the Coinbase developer team.
Wow.
And basically, the first few agents is from this Coinbase, like base agent and also agent kit. So these are the things we feel like probably for the next few months, we can definitely attract not just crypto users, but also these non-crypto users to try out and enter this kind of this verifiable AI space and to try it out and figure out, okay, basically they can also do something in crypto instead of they just monitor the other guys using MetaMask. You get my point, right?
I do.
Yeah. So I think that's the most important thing. I just feel like it's a naturally very good combination of AI and also crypto. And beyond that, the first version is still on this hardware environment. And in the V2, we also incorporate with the AVS. And so basically, you will see that automatically you can choose either use this environment or you can choose to really become like agent AVS yourself. Yeah.
I have been getting very autonomous agent pilled thanks to two people, you and all of Sriram's recent tweets.
I see.
And you have been the one who's been pilling me on it for quite a while. So
yeah, I didn't talk to him about the idea yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully by the time that this is released, you guys will have had a conversation about it.
Yes.
But I think directionally the people in the space who I think are very smart and who I think are very forward-looking are all talking about this, the autonomous agent work. It's something that we find very fascinating as well. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us, YQ. And I'm very excited to be working with you guys. And I think there's some great stuff that we'll do together. And there's great stuff that AltLayer is doing in a number of domains that I think are going to be highly impactful on the Eigenlayer ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks for Ismael's invite. Let's meet Eigen Greg again. Also meet Alt Greg again.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.